a Navy SEAL team like you had for so long and always having to put other people's needs before yours, did you ever lose yourself in the process of that?
I think we all do at points, right? The business of warfare, especially special operations, is a very intense, it's a very, violent world, and you can lose yourself in that world and forget who you are. I think, the best way I've ever heard it put is they train us to be monsters, right? That's what they're trying to produce is a monster, but they want us to be guided by the very principles and values that we stand for so that we don't do monstrous things. And in that world, sometimes, unfortunately, violence has to be met with violence, and it's a proportional response. And you can, and in fact, I did for a while. I struggled. Uh, One of the biggest challenges I've ever had is self-loathing, actually, Megan, because I started to like the things that I was doing a little too much, and I lost my way. And there's a whole, faith-based component to that. And I always thought that, growing up in a small town that was very Southern Baptist in its roots and its religion, its faith, and seeing some of the things that I saw, doing some of the things that I was doing, I couldn't reconcile. And I started to say to myself, if there truly is this God and he's all knowing and all loving and all benevolent, then how can there be a place in heaven for a person like me that's doing the things that I'm doing and liking the things that I'm doing a little too much? And one of my coaches, I'll never forget this, talk about those moments, right? Like, God, the hand of God coming in and introducing an angel into your life at just the right moment. Billy Kennedy. Billy was the head basketball coach at Texas A&M University, very successful. And Billy has Parkinson's disease, and he stares at his own mortality every time he looks in the mirror because there's no cure. And he's got a clock ticking, and he knows it. And he bought a property outside of College Station where the university is that was going to be kind of his, like, right off into the sunset property, and he was going to build this really nice house. And we had a home game that day, and after pregame meal, he says, "Hey, Commander, why don't you come out to the property with me? I got something I got to look at. I want you to go with me." I was like, "Sure, Coach," thinking we're just going to go walk the dirt, and kind of, talk about the game or strategy or whatever. And we're walking through the woods, and it's a beautiful day, and it's like the sunbeams are coming through the trees, and it's just one of those kind of surreal moments. And Coach Kennedy's walking in front of me, and he turns around and he looks me right in the eye and he goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I was, "What?" He goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "Coach, I'm great." And he goes, "That's one." And he asked me again. He goes, "What's wrong with you?" And I said, "Coach, I'm fine. Like, what? I'm great." Like, and he goes, "Okay, if you lie to me again, I'm never going to work with you. We're done." And I was like, Where's he going? Like, what is this?" And started thinking, and Coach Kennedy's a very mild mannered, soft kind of guy. And he said it. He goes, "There's something deeply wrong with you. What is it?" And I don't know why, but I just said, "Coach, I don't like myself very much." And he goes, "Yeah, I could see that." Um, and I started talking to him about the same thing that I just shared about the self-loathing. I said, "When I'm in front of people, I can be this 10 feet tall, bulletproof person, personality, all that. But when I'm alone, I want to crawl out of my own skin. Like, I can't stand it." And he said, "You don't get it, do you?" And I said, "Well, clearly, Coach, I don't, but if you have words of wisdom, I'd love to hear them." And he said, "God had to put you through the things that he put you through in order to build you into the instrument that he needed for you to help other people. So I had to go to those dark places in order to understand them and experience them firsthand so that I would have not only the true empathy to really understand people at their worst moments, to be there for them. And it changed the way I look at my life. I'm not perfect. Still a work, in progress, but it really had a profound impact on me. So again, that it's that Leif Cairns in that moment, Billy Kennedy in that moment, right? Like, so I've been very blessed and very fortunate to have people around me that espoused and lived this care for others more than you care for yourself, and step in and help them when they needed it.
I really like that. It makes me think about the whole talk around how can you really know or appreciate the highs if you haven't been through those lows? Like if we
100%.
were just always stagnant, how do we even know what a high looks like or feels like to be able to compare it?
That's right. I don't want someone that's undefeated. I don't want someone that's never lost. I want someone that's experienced what that feels like and they know it firsthand so that they understand, truly understand what that means and what it takes to be successful and overcome challenge and adversity.